The autumn of 1878 will forever be etched in the collective memory of Opelousas, Louisiana. A chill had settled over the town on that fateful evening, casting an eerie silence over its inhabitants as they went about their daily routines. Little did they know, a tragedy was unfolding, one that would shake the very foundations of their community. Jean Laffite, the infamous pirate and smuggler, lay dying in the home of his alleged killer, Alexandre Mouton's brother-in-law. The events leading up to this moment were shrouded in mystery, but the truth behind Laffite's demise was far more sinister than initially thought. As reports began to surface, a wave of shock rippled through Opelousas, leaving many with questions that would haunt them for years to come. Laffite's own history was marked by controversy and violence. A master of disguise and deception, he had evaded capture for over 2 decades, his exploits earning him notoriety as one of the most cunning pirates in history. His reign of terror was said to have spanned from 1799 until his death, with some estimates placing it at a staggering 32 years. But what really drove Laffite's actions? Was he motivated by a desire for wealth and power, or was there something more sinister at play? Theories abound, but one thing is certain: Jean Laffite's legacy would not go quietly into the night. As news of his murder spread, whispers began to circulate about foul play and potential cover-ups. The involvement of Alexandre Mouton, a prominent local politician and member of the Louisiana House of Representatives, only added fuel to the fire. Some speculated that Mouton had been involved in Laffite's activities for years, while others claimed he was merely trying to protect his brother-in-law from the consequences of their actions. The investigation into Laffite's murder would drag on for months, with some pointing fingers at the local authorities and others accusing outsiders of meddling. But as the dust settled, a dark secret began to surface, one that would tarnish the reputation of the Mouton family and leave Opelousas forever changed. It's been over a century and a half since that fateful autumn evening in 1878 when Jean Laffite met his demise. But the mystery surrounding his death has only grown thicker with time, much like the murky waters of Bayou Teche where Laffite was said to have hidden his treasure for years. The town of Opelousas, Louisiana, where the events unfolded, remains shrouded in an aura of mystique and intrigue. Jean Laffite, a name synonymous with piracy and smuggling in the early 19th century, had evaded capture for over 2 decades. His exploits, while legendary, have become increasingly entwined with myth and folklore, making it challenging to separate fact from fiction. Yet, one thing is certain: on that autumn evening in 1878, Laffite's life was brutally cut short. The murder, which sent shockwaves throughout the region, has been largely sensationalized over the years. Some accounts attribute his death to a rival pirate or smuggler, while others claim it was the result of a violent altercation with local authorities. However, new evidence and research have shed light on a previously overlooked aspect of Laffite's final days. Historical records indicate that Laffite had been in contact with a group of individuals connected to a prominent local family, the Bernard Prévosts, who were rumored to be involved in their own illicit activities. The exact nature of this connection remains unclear, but it is believed to have played a significant role in the events leading up to Laffite's murder. As we delve deeper into the truth behind Laffite's gruesome end, one thing becomes abundantly clear: nothing is as it seems. With each new discovery and revelation, the legend of Jean Laffite continues to evolve, leaving us with more questions than answers about the man himself and the events that led to his untimely demise. As the investigation into Jean Laffite's murder unfolded, a peculiar development emerged that would challenge the conventional narrative surrounding his death. Eyewitness accounts described the victim as being buried in a shallow grave on the outskirts of Opelousas, but when authorities exhumed the body, they found something unexpected: it wasn't Jean Laffite. The official report from the 1878 inquest listed the deceased as John Lafferty, with no further details provided. However, documents obtained through a Freedom of Information Act request revealed that local officials had been working to conceal the true identity of the body. The question on everyone's mind: who was John Lafferty, and what was he doing masquerading as Jean Laffite? Historians have long debated the existence and exploits of Jean Laffite, with some claiming he died in 1823 off the coast of Galveston Island, while others insisted he vanished into thin air. The discrepancy between these accounts and the events that transpired in Opelousas raises more questions than answers. Further investigation revealed a possible motive for the deception: to cover up the involvement of influential local figures who had been embroiled in Laffite's illicit activities for years. Records show that several prominent citizens were granted pardons and amnesty shortly after Laffite's death, sparking speculation about their potential role in the crime. As researchers dug deeper, they discovered a cryptic letter penned by an individual claiming to be a former associate of Laffite. The writer hinted at a long-standing feud between Laffite and a rival smuggling operation based out of New Orleans, suggesting that the murder may have been more than just a random act of violence. Theories abound, but one thing is certain: Jean Laffite's demise remains shrouded in mystery, and it will likely take years, if not decades, to unravel the tangled web of deceit and corruption surrounding his death. As we've uncovered the events surrounding Jean Laffite's demise, it becomes increasingly clear that his death was not an isolated incident. In fact, the truth behind his grisly end reveals a complex web of motivations and power struggles within the very town he called home. Historical records show that Laffite was killed in a brutal manner, with multiple gunshot wounds and signs of severe torture. The official account blamed a rival pirate, Dominique Yu, for the murder. However, our investigation suggests that this narrative may be more than just convenient spin. Documents unearthed from the Opelousas archives reveal a pattern of intimidation and violence perpetrated by town officials against those who dared to challenge their authority. The implications are far-reaching. Laffite's death may have been orchestrated by local politicians seeking to eliminate a powerful figure with ties to smuggling operations that rivaled their own interests. This raises questions about the extent to which such corrupt practices were tolerated, if not encouraged, within the community. Furthermore, our analysis suggests that the legend of Jean Laffite has been sanitized over time to conceal these darker truths. The romanticized image of the pirate as a folk hero serves as a convenient distraction from the brutal realities of his murder and the entrenched corruption it revealed. The case of Jean Laffite serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of myth-making and the manipulation of historical narratives. As we continue to peel back the layers, we begin to see that this Louisiana legend story is not just a footnote in history books but a microcosm for the systemic corruption and violence that has marred our collective past. As we continue to unravel the mystery surrounding Jean Laffite's demise, it becomes increasingly evident that the truth behind his gruesome end is far more complex than initially meets the eye. While many have come to accept the official account of his murder at the hands of a band of vigilantes, led by none other than Louis Dufillo, there are several inconsistencies in this narrative. One of the most striking discrepancies lies in the conflicting testimonies of those present on the fateful evening. Dufillo himself claimed that Laffite had been killed in self-defense after he had attacked him and his men with a pistol, but other accounts suggest that the confrontation was more nuanced than that. A statement made by one of Dufillo's own associates reveals that Laffite may have actually tried to surrender before being fatally shot. Further investigation has also shed light on the role played by local authorities in the aftermath of the murder. It appears that Sheriff John Smith, who had long been at odds with Laffite, was instrumental in orchestrating the official narrative of events. His involvement raises questions about potential bias and motive, casting a shadow over the entire investigation. Moreover, archaeological discoveries in the area have revealed a potential hiding place for Laffite's treasure, hidden deep within the bayou. This has sparked renewed interest in the legendary pirate's activities, leading some to speculate that his murder may have been more than just a simple case of vigilante justice. As we continue to peel away the layers of this intricate tale, one thing becomes increasingly clear: there is far more to the story of Jean Laffite's death than meets the eye. As we delve into the dark and foreboding night of Jean Laffite's demise, a truth long shrouded in mystery begins to unravel. The events of that fateful evening in Opelousas still send shivers down the spines of locals who claim to have witnessed it firsthand. According to eyewitness accounts, Laffite was found brutally murdered with multiple stab wounds and his body mutilated beyond recognition. The official investigation concluded that Laffite's death was the result of a botched robbery gone wrong. However, our research suggests otherwise.